Margaret Hayes had spent her life in a classroom. For 42 years, she stood before rows of eager and not-so-eager faces, teaching literature and history to hundreds of students at Lincoln High School. She was the kind of teacher who stayed after class to help, who remembered birthdays, and who believed that kindness was as important as grammar. Now, at 76, her classroom was gone, her chalkboard replaced by silence, and her only companion was the ticking of a clock in her small, ivy-covered house on Maple Street. Her pension barely covered food and utilities. But lately, something else had been rising. Her property taxes. Every year the numbers went up, and her fixed income stayed the same. One gray morning, Margaret opened her mailbox and froze. Inside was a letter-stamped final notice, property tax delinquency. Her hands trembled as she read. The amount owed was more than she could possibly pay. If she didn't come up with the money within 60 days, her house, her home of 38 years, would be seized by the county. She sat down on her porch steps and cried softly. The world she had once helped shape now seemed ready to forget her. 2 weeks later, a black SUV pulled up in front of her house. A man in a suit stepped out, holding a clipboard. "Mrs. Hayes," he asked. "I'm from the county tax office. I'm here to post a notice." Margaret looked up, eyes red. "Is there anything I can do? I just need more time. I've lived here my whole life." "I'm sorry, ma'am," the man said without emotion. "Rules are rules. The auction notice will go up next week." He taped a yellow sheet to her door and walked away. The paper flapped in the wind like a flag of surrender. Later that afternoon, Margaret sat in her kitchen, sipping weak tea, when she heard a knock. She opened the door and saw a tall man in his 30s, wearing a navy suit but with a kind, familiar face. "Mrs. Hayes?" he said, smiling softly. "You might not remember me, but I remember you. I'm Daniel Carter. You taught me American history in 10th grade." Margaret blinked. "Daniel Carter?" she said, her eyes widening. "Little Danny Carter? You're all grown up." He laughed. "That's me. I saw your name on the county's public auction list. I couldn't believe it. So I came to see you." Her voice shook. "They say I'm behind on property taxes. I just don't have the money anymore. Daniel, they're going to take my home." Daniel's expression hardened with resolve. "Not if I can help it." Daniel was now a real estate lawyer in the city, a good one. He had handled dozens of cases involving wrongful property seizures. "I'm going to take your case," he told her. "But I can't pay you," Margaret whispered. "I'm not asking for payment," Daniel said firmly. "You once stayed late to help me pass your class. Consider this my chance to return the favor." Margaret's eyes filled with tears. "You were one of the good ones, Daniel." He smiled. "You made me believe I could be." The next few weeks were a blur of paperwork and hearings. Daniel uncovered a mistake in the county's assessment, a clerical error that had nearly doubled her tax bill. He argued that her case fell under the Senior Property Relief Clause, which should have exempted her from the majority of the back taxes. He stood before the county board, defending her with quiet passion. This woman gave her life to this community. The least this county can do is give her the fairness she deserves. After a tense silence, the head assessor finally said, "Mr. Carter, your appeal is granted. The charges are dropped." When Daniel drove to her house that evening, Margaret was sitting on the porch, the same place where she'd once wept over her notice. He handed her the official letter. "It's over," he said with a smile. "They can't take your home. You're safe." She read the paper slowly, her hands trembling, not from fear this time, but relief. Then she looked up at him with tearful eyes. "Daniel, I don't know how to thank you." He chuckled. "You already did years ago. Every lesson you taught me made me who I am. This was just my turn to give something back." Margaret smiled, the wrinkles around her eyes deepening. You always did have a good heart. I'm proud of you. As Daniel walked back to his car, the old teacher watched him go, her heart full. For the first time in a long time, she didn't feel forgotten. She felt seen. And as the evening sun bathed her little house in gold, she whispered to herself, maybe the best lessons we teach come back to us when we need them most. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the thumbs button for more stories like this.